Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Grid. My name is Scott Kelby, and we are joined today by, I'm going to see if I can say this right, family and children and happiness photographer, Tracy Sweeney. Tracy, thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
So the reason why we're so lucky to get Tracy today, she's been here for the last couple of days, taping classes on location on how to shoot families.
Yes.
That sounds bad. You know what I mean? Photograph families.
Not shooting any family.
No, it was photographing families and kids. Like, that's your specialty.
That is my specialty, yes. Everything from newborns to children and full family.
Yeah, and I've seen your work, and you're really, really, really good. So we're excited to have you here at Kelby One doing this and on The Grid today.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. This is amazing.
So we have asked our audience to submit their photos of families and children. No pets.
No pets.
No pets, only families and children. So we're going to be going through those today. We have some really, really, really great ones. A couple of other things in the meantime. Let's see. We have some shout outs, of course. We got a shout out. Now, Stephanie says today she is in St. Peter's Basilica in Vatican City. Last week she was in a favela in not Buenos Aires. She was in a favela in Brazil somewhere. No, Rio, in Rio. There's no way you got from there to St. Peter's. Where are you really, Stephanie? Jen thinks that you're in your living room wearing jammy slippers or something. Anyway, we're so glad to have you here, even if you are at home and you lied and everything. Shout out to DFW in DFW. So Dallas, Fort Worth, glad to have you here. We got hello from Michigan and Rembo17 says, hi, everyone. We're waiting to see the Tesla photos. So today we did a Tesla photo shoot on location. So somebody that follows me on Facebook just sent me a text and says, Scott, I know you like automotive photography. A studio opened up in your town with an automotive photography studio with a 35-foot long Chimera softbox with 18 strobes in it. What? That's exactly what I said. What? And so a week later, I was there shooting, and that was today. And we shot a red Tesla Model S and a brand new blue Tesla X with the gull-wing doors and all. I'm scraping together some pictures. We just did the shoot. Did the shoot. I came here, had a meeting. Boom, we're on. Tracy's here. Bang. So it's, I'm going to show you some behind-the-scenes photos and stuff that I emailed to myself a minute ago. Peter's here from London. Hey, Peter. He says, hi, Tracy.
Hi, Peter.
Fran is here. Fran's a regular. She's from Manchester, and it's beautiful today in Manchester. 81 degrees, blue sunny sky. Oh, probably not. Anyway, Johan's here. He's from the Netherlands, and he says, when can we see the results from your car shoot today? I have not retouched anything, but I can let you see just a couple out of the camera. Anyway, we have an exciting day today. First off, this is our 275th episode.
Unbelievable.
6 years today. This is our 6-year anniversary, and we're giving away something very special today. So we are very thankful to the people at Think Tank Photo. They are giving us I got it written down here, their City Walker shoulder bag as our way of celebrating our 6th year. Also, our friends at Lens Pro To Go in Boston, where I'll be in just a couple of days, which is sharing Manchester weather. Two $50 gift cards to Lens Pro To Go. They are awesome people. They rent you stuff. Somebody on Twitter today sent me a tweet and thanked me because we have a Kelby One discount for renting lenses. He rented a lens for a month for a trip.
That's amazing.
And I was like, it was amazing that anybody can take a freaking month off. Anyway, I was like very jealous. But anyway, Swindonshire's here. Yes, it's Dave Clayton. Andy's here from Berlin. Elsiv is here from Bergen, Norway, which is I'm trying to get to Bergen, Norway this summer because I hear they have delicious Bergens. And Penny Cunningham says, hi there. I'm so excited to hear someone who specializes in newborn on your show. You do newborn, right? You do everything.
Yes, absolutely.
Children, families, newborn.
Anything kid-related.
Old-born, old kids, big kids, kids who climb on rocks, short kids, skinny kids. Even kids with chicken pox.
No.
Is that before your time?
No. I had chicken pox, not before
No, but the song, do you know what, Jen? Does anybody know that song? Short kids, skinny kids, kids who climb on rocks.
Oh, this was a song?
It was a song. Even kids with chicken pox love hot dogs. Armor hot dogs. The dogs kids love to bite. Oh, come on. You never heard that?
No. Oscar
That's
Mayer,
bull.
that's it.
How old are you? 12? Come on. We grew up with that Armor hot dogs. You know what's in a hot dog? They're so good for you.
Amazing for
It's
you.
packed full of
Yes.
vegetables and stuff.
I serve those at the studio.
Do you?
No.
Oh, God. You were banned from the show. Oh, God, everybody's watching today. Sure enough, I'm saying all this singing the Armor Hot Dog song. Everybody's watching. Gianluca's here from Vancouver. Michelle from says ciao from Pisa, Italy. Renata's here, says, I was just watching a course on Kelby 1, now just skipping over to watch the grid. Break time. And Alec is here from Aberdeen, Scotland, not Hong Kong. Alec, I knew you weren't from Hong Kong last week. I'm just glad you came back for a second week. And we got some questions, of course, and we will have questions from the audience live. So if you have questions for Tracy, let's do it. But in the meantime, we have a lot to talk about, but let's look at some photos. You ready to get to it?
I'm ready.
Now, this is Tracy's first time on the grid, first off, and it's her first time doing blind critiques with us. So I kind of briefed her a little bit on the rules. The rules are, the reason why we ask people to submit families is so we can make fun of the families and how they look and what they're wearing. No, that's not what we're doing. We are just, she was worried about, like, we're going to be throwing, so I'm not a specialist on black and white. I'm like, it's not about the post-processing. Though you're good at post-processing.
Yes.
I've seen your post-processing. You're good. Anyway, anyway, we're looking at these and we're just going to give honest opinions. All right. And so the opinions might range from your son looks funky or no, but we're going to give honest opinions. And you know who agrees with us? Sharon Barnes from New Zealand, who's watching.
Oh, hi, Sharon.
Sharon's here. All right. Let's take a look at our first photos. I'm going to just go through there. Most people submitted 3, which is kind of what we like. And we're going to look at those. Oh, but then Juan says I'm not connected to the control room. It's always a control room with Juan. It's all a control issue with Juan. Can I tell you that? Here we go. And let's see if you got me on control room. There we go. All right, so here are the first shots. And you can look over there or here, either one you like.
This is all the same?
This is all the same photographer. All right, so these are the 3 shots. 1, 2, and 3. So any other thoughts overall?
What I like about the images, all 3, is that subject's looking away from the camera. So I do get the sense that the photographer is observing as opposed to saying, look at me and smile, which I never, ever try to capture. So in that's thematic, and I like that. I want to know more. Well, in this story, I want to know more. She's saluting something. I have no idea what, so I don't really have a sense of story in this image. So I'd like to see more. If the photographer backed up and I was able to see it from an entirely different angle, and I could have some sort of connectivity between the subject and
because it doesn't look like a bright enough day to where she's shielding her eyes from the sun.
No.
So.
Oh, I didn't even see it that way. Oh, I'm back.
Oh, there she is.
Here I am.
What Tracy just really said when she was off microphone.
Do not.
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I know. I'm looking the same thing you're looking at.
Just trying to figure out what.
Yeah, what's going on with that?
I don't know.
Yeah, we're both looking really close at the screen. We're like, what's she doing with her hands? Next photo?
Please. Okay. All right. So I love that the child's looking away. I love the colors here, the contrasting. I'm sure it wasn't planned wardrobe by any sense because it does look natural in nature. I'm really cautious often with young children, just with lollipops and things like that. I really try and stay clear in general. So I probably would like this image better without that in the frame. And I'd probably recompose it, move the subject over to the left. So if I was shooting with the prime, I would be moving over to the right
so
to shoot
you would prefer to see them over here with a little more open space on this side.
You got it.
Because it feels like visually crowded over here.
Absolutely. And he's looking at, forgive me, I'm not sure if I think it's a male, but he's looking at something, and I want more empty space on the side.
So you would prefer to see him over to the left.
Absolutely.
All right. But overall, what do we think? Just kind of good exposures, nice post.
Absolutely. Got some straight lines there.
Looks like maybe a little composition stuff might make these a little stronger?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we kind of waded into that one pretty easy.
Yeah,
We kind of
all right.
waded into it. All right, let's take a look at number 2 here. And it's kind of small. Let's see if I can make these bigger. Let's see if I can get them. Let me see. I can't really get them much bigger than we are. We'll cheat and go this way.
Okay.
Now you'll have to back off to get. There's one. And there's 2. I want to zoom in a little. So sometimes people give us like formats that are easy to open and are good size. And sometimes they give us tiny little things like this.
Okay.
And then number 3. And
Zoom
we're
in
going
for
to
me.
zoom in. All right. So overall thoughts?
All 3 of those appear to be a little soft, bit out of focus, as I had you sort of zoom in. Bring this one in a little closer.
Whoops, I went a little crazy there. Now that's 400%. It's a small thing.
Yeah,
so.
that one's actually not as bad as the other 2 as far as focus-wise. This image, too, actually the opposite
Oh,
from...
that does look soft, doesn't
yeah,
it?
really soft.
Yeah.
That's what I always look at, the eyes, the face, because no matter what in the image, I shoot really wide open. So there's a lot of other things that are soft, but I want my eyes
Yeah.
sharp. No matter what, I want those eyes sharp. So right away, that's what I always tell photographers. Beyond anything else, beyond the post-processing, get your images sharp before trying to learn anything else.
Yep.
To me, that's the most important thing. So that's what I would definitely work on is the sharpness of the images, and I always look at child's eyes. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
another thing, post-processing wise, just to kind of consider with dark hair, it's really easy to pick up blue hues. So just to be cautious of that so that we don't get that color casting. And I know it's coming in from the balloon, so it might be a little bit challenging, but
Well, and they're in the shade too. And if
Yeah.
they used auto white balance, it turns everything a little blue, right? But you know what's interesting is the letters like ONE aren't too blue, right? The letter. So, but there's definitely some blue going on there.
those balloons.
Now, this is the thing that, like, when I look at this picture, I can tell you what draw. This bright light coming right down here in the middle. It's like you almost want to look just past him. And
It's
so-
distracting at that light that's coming in. But I do appreciate the effort of tucking the child into the shade, finding a spot to place
Yeah.
the child in the shade.
rather than in the direct, harsh, nasty sunlight.
Exactly.
All right. And what do you think of this one?
I think it's endearing. It's a sweet moment. I actually like the tight composition where mom's a little bit out of frame. I'd love to see both her eyes if we could lift just a little bit so I could see both
just
eyelids.
right up there.
Yeah. I don't even mind the cutting off of the head, but I would like to see both eyes as opposed to just the one eyelid.
All right.
There.
Hey, let's go ahead and take a question while we're getting set up for the next one. Johan's asking a question to you, and he says, "What is your lighting setup for shooting children/newborns? Like, how do you get that extra soft light?"
So when I'm shooting like newborns, I shoot in studio primarily. I live in New England, and we have, fabulous weather like Manchester.
I was gonna make a joke and say, "Hey, I spent a weekend there," but you don't know the song "Weekend in New England," do you? But oh my gosh, I got to get older guests. Seriously, do you know some old people? Can you have your folks on? Something. Sorry, go ahead. So that's that. On to the soft lighting question. Sorry.
In doing that, so I shoot primarily natural light in studio, but I do use a softbox to fill the light, which really helps. So I use it as a soft fill. Sometimes I have a reflector if I need to bounce some light back in. But other than that, truly, I use natural light with the newborns. As far as outdoors, I'm harnessing whatever light is available to me. So I don't use at this time any artificial light. I'm really actually interested in learning more about light, but as of right now, all the work that you see is natural light other than a
Really?
softbox fill.
Wow. Okay. Nice. Okay. Well, that answers that one. Let's see. Oh, good. Some people out there recognize my Oscar Mayer hot dog. Jessica
they
Maldonado, greatest graphic designer in the world, recognized it there. Dave Clayton says, "I think Ozzy Osbourne sang it." 'Twas not Ozzy. And then Matt Charninsky, Matt's a regular, real good guy, very good photographer, says apparently Scott was alive during the infancy of music. Matt, you don't know how good that ad was. I never tried a hot dog before that song, and I was so hooked.
Oscar Mayer.
All righty. All right, so Chris Wiley has a comment. Chris Wiley says, "I'm sorry, but the photo with the spoon looks to me like someone just got their new camera and was playing around." I don't think it was that bad. Oh, it was all right. And let's see. Oh, we just some more shout outs. We got Alvaro from South America. And I just saw somebody else. Peter's here from Australia. Glad to have you here, Peter. And Helmet says, what's up? You guys are great. All the best from Hanover, Germany. Susan's here having tea with my daughter in Danbury, Connecticut. How lovely, Susan. We're glad you're here, Susan. All right, so Sandy Shaw asked a question. Is 100mm macro a good lens for kid and family portraits?
It's a great lens to have in your arsenal, definitely.
It's nice, isn't it? Like or a 105,
it's
right?
That's a beautiful lens. I use my 100 macro with all my newborn sessions to capture all those little details, the lips, the nose, the hands, the feet. But then often I'll pull back and I'll actually shoot the full newborn with the 100. So yeah, it's definitely a lens that I keep in my bag. One of my top 4 lenses.
All right, let's see what we got here. All right, so we got some. I coaxed these a little larger, and we got 3 shots. Here's the first one, and the second one, and the third one. All right, comments?
Absolutely. Go back to the first one for me. I love that. I actually really, really love that. It's just, that's genuine emotion.
That's very sweet.
Yeah, no one's cultivating that. I think that's great.
You know what's so cute? His little hand.
Yeah.
His little hand
and
is
the
so
lips
small.
And mom's stretching out. I mean, that's an endearing moment, and that's really.
And it's got nice lighting. It's soft.
Beautiful, and you can see the texture. Yeah, I think that's brilliant.
Very nice.
So I'm having trouble with this one because I don't know where to look right now. I know that obviously
I'm with you.
Our goal here is the baby, but it could even potentially be the older sibling looking at the child, but I'm not even getting that because I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be looking at.
You know, like, it's interesting. Her shirt is in focus.
Yeah.
But there's no real sharp focus spot in this but her shirt. Mm-hmm. I don't know where to look. And you know what it is? It looks like 2 different photographers took this shot. Like, how could the photographer that took this shot be the same photographer that took this shot?
Yeah, I agree.
So don't ever show anyone this shot. Here's my advice. Ditch this one. Take more of these.
Because when shooting children, we're doing one of 2 things. We're either capturing images for ourselves as parents,
right,
or we're capturing images for someone else as parents. So ultimately, if this image is just for themselves, there's not even a story there at all. So it's not serving even that purpose.
All right, and let's take a look at the last one.
So the same comment here, I actually really love the child looking over the shoulder. If you get him to drop it, if you could get him to drop his shoulder a little bit more, just to provide a bit of a gap between his chin, and forgive me if this is a female, but between the child's chin and the shoulder, I would love that even more. But I do like the posing here. Those eyes need to be sharper, though. Again, focusing on those eyes, because as I looked really close up, they were very soft.
All righty. All right, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're going to take a short break. We have some good questions coming in, so we're going to make sure we catch some of these. Hi, Daryl from Aloha from Hawaii. And we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to look at more images. We're going to answer more questions. We got some more giveaways today because it's our 6th anniversary show. So stick around. We will be right back live. We have Tracy Sweeney. We're here in the new grid set. 6 years. Boom. Boom. Now let's go to a gratuitous grid jib shot. Here we go. Gratuitous jib shot with Juan.
Hey, Rick Salmon here. I have the pleasure of being an instructor at Photoshop World 2017 in Orlando, Florida, April 20th through 22nd. I'm going to try to get to as many classes as I can, but I hope you can come to my classes. One is how to have more fun in Photoshop. Number 2 is evolution of an image. I talk through the evolutionary process of an image. And the 3rd class is travel photography. I'm Rick Salmon. I'll see you there.
Hey guys, my name's Peter Hurley and you are here in my studio and I am going to teach this class on the top 10 questions I get regarding headshot photography. So here's what you're going to get. These are big ones. You ready? How do you chill out your subject? How do you get their good side? How do you take weight off of somebody that's a little bit heavier? How do you get glare out of the glasses? What about continuous versus strobe? I'm going to go over those and many more in this class. Come join me on kelby1.com.
Hi, I'm Dave Cross. If you find that you struggle making selections in Photoshop, then my class on selection tools and techniques is what you need to get to the next level. In this class, we're going to talk about not only all the individual selection tools, but strategies on how to use the tools in tandem to end up with a great selection. We'll look at specific functions like color range and select and mask, all with the same goal: help you make more accurate selections more quickly and easily. Check out my class only at kelby1.com.
Hey, we are back. Scott Kelby here with my in-studio guest, Tracy Sweeney. She is a family and children and newborn photographer. And she's not freezing cold because it's warm here as anything.
You were going to freeze, though, on Friday.
I know I'm going to freeze in Boston. Hey, thanks for mentioning Boston. Yes, I am going to be in Boston on Friday. If you are one of the only photographers in Boston who's not coming out to my seminar, we're going to have it's going to be sold out by tomorrow. So we're going to have about 360 photographers. So if you want to go right now to kelby1live.com and you can join me this Friday at the Heinz Convention Center for my brand new Lightroom tour. And then on Monday, I'm in Philadelphia having cheesesteaks with friends. And I might even do a seminar.
Pat's or Geno's?
Neither. Tony's.
Oh, okay.
What, Tony Lucas?
Yes.
All right, so see?
I should know this. I lived in Philly for 7 years.
You lived in Philly for 7 years?
I did.
Well, I don't know.
John's, South Street.
Somebody else is telling me to go to some place else like Paul's, or there's another one that I forget. I'll have to figure it out because I got friends up there, so they'll tell me where to go. They always do. Anyway, so I'll be in Philly. Go to kelby1live.com. You can still grab a ticket unless you're in Boston. Grab your ticket tonight, or it'll be gone. Let's see what else. 10 days left for the early bird special for Photoshop World. We're only doing one Photoshop World this year. It is in Orlando, Florida, April 20th through 22nd. It is going to be amazing. And you know what? Can I spill the big news? So let's go one up on me. Quick, switch to a dramatic shot. Camera 2 or something. Because I have big Photoshop World news. Big, crazy, big, mega big. Here we go. It's very dramatic.
Okay.
Ready? Oh, people are going to lose their minds. Ready? Stella Kramer has just been added, yes, to the Photoshop World lineup. Stella is going to be at Photoshop World teaching classes, doing portfolio reviews, the whole 9 yards. Stella, how cool is that? Like, she's the awesomest. She's like the Kaylee Greer of New York, right? So, oh gosh, awesome. Stella is she's just it. So she's going to be joining us. We just found that out. We're very, very excited. 10 days left for the early bird special. That means that you save $100 if you register like right now. So we want to see you in Orlando. Go to photoshopworld.com. It actually starts in 42 days, but the early bird ends in 10. So there you go. Okay, go to photoshopworld.com, buy 10 tickets. Here we go. Gosh, we have so many great questions. Can I ask you a couple of questions? All right. So let's see. Fernando says, are we going to have an audio-only podcast for today's show? Yeah, very funny, Fernando. Fernando, we have an audio-only podcast, by the way. It is on the iTunes store. So does that mean, Fernando, you don't have a good enough internet connection to see the video version? All right, look, they are. Look at that. Anonymous says, yes, thank you, Scott. Okay, now I'm buying my ticket. See, Stella puts butts in the seats, is what we've always said. That's the saying around here. And then Stephanie says, and as someone always does, Stella. All right. Graham asks, what's the best age for newborn photography? Like, is it like how many days old or whatever? Like, what do you think?
The sweet spot for me is around 8 days, but always under 14. So always under 2 weeks of life. And actually, I shouldn't say always. If a baby's in the NICU or whatnot, then I obviously always work with the parents in that pursuit. But ideally.
So between 8 and 15 days is your sweet spot?
Anywhere from like 5 to 14, but I find
5 to 14.
8, 9, 10 is perfect. After that, like the acne sets in and baby becomes more awake, more reflexive. You can't get him in those really cuddly positions as well.
Good for like 6 days. And then,
whole thing changes.
No, that's really good. I think that's a good question. I think that's great. And CZ88 says, howdy from Oklahoma, really enjoying these photo critiques. Thank you for joining us. All right. Ooh, the green mug's on the table. How can I get one, asks Alberto. Well, I'm glad you asked. We're giving these away, too. So these are the original grid mugs, right? We have 3 of them. So this is from the old grid set. But we did keep and now we have these new cups, which it's kind of weird to stick my water bottle in a, but these are the new blue ones. But we're giving those away today, too. So we're giving away 2 Lens Pro to go. Ooh. We're giving away 3 grid cups. We're giving away my latest book, the Photoshop CC book for digital photographers, about to be zoomed in on right there. Thank you. Thank you. All right, and a city think tank photo, City Walker shoulder bag, courtesy of our friends at Think Tank Photo. All right, so we're giving away all that stuff today on the grid. Let's go back. We got a couple more questions, but we'll get to them. Here we'll answer this one from Johan, because Johan's like, he's a regular. What's your stand on cropping children and newborn photos? Do you crop or do you intentionally leave space?
I do both. It depends on what I'm focusing on. In any setup, I will capture full body. I'll leave extra room. A lot of times my work will make its way into a gallery wall art, so I need to have that room to wrap around.
All right.
And then I'll focus in and I'll crop up, and sometimes just like on lips, on hands, and small features. So I do both.
All right. We're on to our next one. Here we go. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Looks like a Christmas card there. Everyone's playing on their mobile devices. Thoughts? Comments?
Yes. So I'd love to see this family move over a little bit, just to get away from that tree, because I'm losing this child a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of camouflaging.
Yep.
Other than that, with a little fill light, the sky looks great.
Let's see if we can bring up a little fill light
add
here.
a little bit into the shadows.
That helps a little. The whole thing's kind of underexposed
Yeah, it
there.
is. I agree. Maybe drop the highlights a little bit. Yeah, already that makes a big difference for me. He's popping out a little bit more, but I'd still like to see them all maybe closer together. We could put...
So there's your before and after. They were pretty dark.
Yeah. Little improvements that I think would make a big difference.
What about the cropping? I mean, you're seeing a whole lot of extra stuff there.
And unnecessary things. I don't need to see that path at all.
Yeah.
And I guess it looks like the curb, and I would do a tighter crop on that. I think I'm going to make an assumption that they loved the sky and kind of didn't want to compromise it, but I would go tighter
if we're
crop.
going to compromise something, we'll...
Yeah. There we go.
That's better.
Much better. Much better.
Alrighty, over here.
3 different shots. I get the idea. Each child individually. Having the little gal here with her arms behind her back, it sort of looks like a chop of the limb. So just be cautious of that when you have arms behind the back. There's nothing wrong with photographing arms behind the back, but just be cautious of where it looks as though limbs are cut. Same thing in the middle photo. I don't know if it was extended initially. I don't know if it was shot horizontal or vertical, but I see like limbs cut at the ankles there and like the calf.
There's also a lot of excess headroom on all 3 of those shots. So that big gap, it's fine if you're putting it on the cover of a magazine.
Because you need the overlay.
You need, but there's too much space between the top of their head and the top of the frame. Now, this is going to look bad because you put a border in there, but if I was going to redo this, I would put that crop like here.
Agreed.
Something more like that.
Yeah.
That's probably better for him. It's maybe a little tight for her, but this one's just way off. Plus, the legs are cropped in a really unfortunate place.
Exactly. That's with the limbs.
Yep. And then lastly...
So if this is for a holiday portrait, I'm assuming we want to get some sort of sense of who this family is together.
They're depressed.
So that was my only thought, was that they just don't look very happy. I gathered that was part of the intent probably of the photo. But nonetheless, I'm not really getting a sense of who they are as a family, other than they're likely on mobile devices, but they're likely not on mobile devices sitting around in, elf costumes, typically.
So if you were going to give this photographer some advice that would improve their photography, what would you tell them to do?
Okay. So to improve this, I would just think about what's in the background here. If we're going to keep the tree there, it makes sense, but you'd have to want to position in an entirely different way. This angle to me is really confusing because we're coming at the image from a tight angle. I'm imagining there maybe wasn't even enough room to back up, but then I've got just a lot of distracting elements off to the side there, and the blinds as well. So just I would probably choose a whole new location for that shot.
All righty. All right, let's roll on. Lots of comments coming in today. Penny Cunningham asks, how and when do we submit for review? So Penny, I generally will post on my Twitter account, on my Facebook public page, and on Google Plus the day before. Like we say, hey, today's the day. It's time to. So if you follow me on any one of my social medias, you'll get an advanced warning. Peter Treadway, who is a personal friend of mine from the UK and just a bad person, says, "Are you going to have cold lasagna in Boston?" No, we're going to have hot lasagna at a wonderful restaurant that we just found today in the North Beach section, Italian, and it will be warm, not cold. Peter. All right, let's say Mark Rodriguez got his ticket to Photoshop World this week. Autograph asks, is it possible to use LED Fresnel lighting for newborn photography? So like flat panels, I imagine they manage like LED flat panels. You can turn them up and turn them down. They're daylight balanced and they look like crap. What do you think?
Do they simulate a window light at any point?
No, they simulate crap.
Then no.
No. Can I tell you
These
what?
don't change the tone.
They're for video.
Yeah.
They're for video. It's video.
Okay.
Like don't use them for.
No.
It's for video.
No.
It's for video. You know what it's for? Can I tell you? Video.
Video.
Super video. All right. Super 8. Okay. All right. So let's go see what we have here. Who else we've got here? We have 3 shots. Here we go. You're looking at those eyes to see if they're sharp.
You knew I was.
She gets close to the
You
screen
knew
like,
I
are those
was.
eyes sharp? Are those eyes sharp?
I want sharp eyes, always.
Those are sharp eyes.
Those look great.
These are pretty
Soft
sharp.
on here.
Okay, cool. So can I tell you something that I think we're seeing a couple of times here? So a really great lens. You mentioned the 100 and the macro, which is a great lens. But I know a lot of people, you can see you're shooting here wide open, so they're using very, very low numbered f-stops like f2.8 or f4, or f1.8, f1.4, really, really wide open. There is a camera technique that you have to do to get your shots in focus, because it's different than any other lenses that you use. And if you can we can stop looking at this kid for just a second. Thank you, so I can demonstrate. So normally what we do with a regular lens is to do this. We lock our focus on the subject's eye. We hold the shutter button halfway down, it locks the focus. Then we compose the photo any way we want. And that works for almost any lens until you get to f1.2, f1.4, f1.8. Now you have to have the plane of the sensor kind of flat, because what happens is you'll get part of your subject in focus and then part of them will be out of focus. And focus is really, really critical, and I think that's what we're seeing here. People shooting with real shallow depths of field who are maybe getting one eye in focus and the other one's not, or it's even not in really, really, really sharp. So what you have to do with those is you have to do your composition first. Compose it where you want. Then you take the little red cursor inside, move it over their eye. Then you fire. The number of shots that you get in focus will skyrocket, right? So anyway, that's that. I think you're seeing some of that in these images.
I think you're right.
Because they're just not like, but you can tell some of them are like, a lot of it looks like 85-1.4, 85-1.8.
This is shot with a great lens. I can tell that this shot was shot with a beautiful lens.
Crisp.
Absolutely.
And the eyes look pretty good there.
They do.
The next one is
That's the soft one.
looks a little soft.
And this one looks possibly a little bit more in focus than the other eye. So that could be because of the focus and recomposing as opposed to.
And this one, since they're far away, it doesn't matter what f-stop you're at. It just won't much matter.
No. So this image, this is endearing. I like this. I think this would, in Photoshop, I would just actually get rid of this altogether and maybe just have a lot of white space there, and I think it would be.
Let's see if we can open it.
Yeah.
All right.
Even just
just
take it and drag it all the way over, like with your selection, and copy it and just all white.
I thought it was going to open in Photoshop, but it's in here. Give me just a second. Hey, while we do that, I'm going to have you answer a question while I'm working on this.
Sure.
Let's see what we've got here. Where are we? Oh, there's so many questions.
That's a good question,
here
Stephanie.
Stephanie has a question, and now she's in the Bahamas. Stephanie says, what technique will you use when photographing an autistic child where eye contact can be an issue?
That's a great question. Essentially, I'm not really ever concerned with eye contact, even though I keep talking about sharp eyes. I'm just talking about sharpness, but I'm not talking about the contact necessarily. And usually my objective is not for a child to just look straight at me, unless they're really pensive or there's just something really intriguing. Essentially, I want them just to engage in the environment around them, observe, and I am just shooting away. So I want the sharpness, but I don't necessarily want eye contact. So when working with an autistic child, if hopefully you've spoken to the parents ahead of time and you kind of have a sense of what interests that child, and if they're able to bring some of those items along, just get them engaged in whatever it may be, whether they're building Legos or whether they're really playing video games, whatever it may be, just engaged and involved and capture whatever emotion you can. But I would never worry about getting direct eye contact unless it was authentic.
Okay. Another question, and this one is from, where are we? S. Ringsmith asks, macro lenses are pretty steep. I think they're talking about how expensive they are. Would you recommend close-up filters or an extension tube for photographing infant-like detail shots, eyes, toes, etc.?
Oh, you need to tell me more. I don't know much about extension tubes, so I don't have...
Yeah, extension tubes are like, if you can't buy a macro lens, you kind of fool your lens into thinking it is one using extension tubes. It moves it further away from the body. But can I tell you something? If whether you're a Nikon or a Canon shooter, this is weird because this is the only accessory I know that Canon makes that works on Nikon cameras. They make a close-up filter. It screws on. I have one. It is about almost an inch thick. It screws on the end of your lens like any other filter, and it turns like you're 70 to 200 into an awesome macro.
Really?
And it is very inexpensive. You can get them anywhere from $79 up to about $149, but it depends on, like, it's based on how wide your opening is. So a 77 is going to be like, $149, and a 54 will be, but it's based on the size opening of your lens. They're actually good.
Really?
Yeah, you could throw it in your bag. You don't have to carry your whole lens. But ideally, like someone asked this question, what's your favorite lens? If you could choose your ideal focal length for newborn baby photography, Graham wants to know, what would it be?
Ooh, for newborns. 35 millimeter.
35?
35.
If somebody asked, is a 15 good?
I've never used a 15 with the newborns. I think that would be...
That's a fish. It's a fish.
Oh, no, that
Shine.
would be so distorting.
Yeah.
I think that'd be too distorting. The 35 is great because
Unless
you can
want
shoot from up above.
Ludicrous baby shot.
So that
35, huh?
And the 50 is great too.
35
Those would
and
be
a
the
50.
two. For when I mentor new newborn photographers, I actually recommend the 50 millimeter. And any of them across the board, even from the cheapos, from 1.8 to 1.4 to 1.2. All of those are great to get started if you don't have that in your arsenal. So I definitely recommend that, and then a 35 millimeter. Those two lenses alone, I could do an entire newborn session with. I wouldn't need anything else.
Wow, there you go.
100 would be a bonus.
All righty. So let's see what else we got. Dorothy says, hi, Trey. Do you know Dorothy?
Hi, Dory.
Because it seems kind of,
I do.
You do?
Yes.
Good, because I was like, wow, they're giving her
We're very
nicknames.
friendly.
I'm like, wow, they're giving her nicknames and stuff. That's pretty awesome. She's just been on the show 40 minutes or something. It's like, All right, let's see. All righty. So, okay, Ralph. Ralph says, thanks for the critique. That was a Merry Textmas card I mailed out. Oh, I get it. Merry Textmas card.
Yep,
Everyone's texting. Okay. All right. Take a look on screen if we can real quick.
Yeah.
You asked for me to remove that white area of part of the house there. And I lost my connection to the screen. So do you see how I lost my connection? Because Juan started to move in my direction to yell over, you're off the screen. Here we go. We should be. There it is. Yeah, I agree. That's much nicer with all that white space without the distracting stuff there.
This would look beautiful on a mat and just like a really artistic piece in the home. I think it's beautiful.
All right, so Danielle asks, it's Daniel. Sorry, Daniel. Sorry. Would you use a cropped sensor? So I'm thinking this is asking about, is the 35 millimeter, you'd still use a cropped sensor?
I would never use a crop sensor if I didn't have to, but if that's what I had, then
Yeah.
I would use it.
No. Some of the greatest pictures in history have been taken with a crop sensor lens. Nothing against a crop sensor lens, but if especially with wide angle, a wide angle lens is where full frame sensors really shine. You get the full wideness because you take that 35 and you put it on a crop sensor, and it's not as wide. It's gonna take the 35 and crop it in, so you don't get that expanse there. Alan Pott says, which is easier to Photoshop out, the gaffer tape or the rope that you use to tie them down when you're still shooting? Oh, Alan, she doesn't use either. She actually uses, what did you say? You actually use duct tape, not gaffer's tape. And I said, I said, doesn't it hurt when they peel it
These
off?
cable ties.
Well, can I tell you, this has nothing to do with anything, but when a couple episodes ago, we had, I just went blank. I just said her name, Kaylee Greer. Kaylee Greer was on the show, and she was talking about how she gets these dogs to stand there, and they stand there so still. She puts them on a leash and ties them to a tree. I'm like, dang, that is brilliant.
Perfect
She goes,
sense.
yeah, and then I just go clone them out later. I'm like,
Brilliant.
I don't know why I wouldn't have thought of that for a million years. Because you know why? It seems too simple. I would have to go, we need to bring in a crane. You know, I would come up with some weird way to do it. All right, let's look at some more images. Let me grab, let's go to somebody else and grab some more images. And feel free to ask questions as we go, which you guys are not shy about that today at all, which is awesome. Here we go. Oh, come on. These are good.
Very good.
This is cute. I've never thought of this or seen this idea before. We're going to pass the baby back precariously above a child. If the baby falls, it goes right into the kid's head. Oh, it's all nicely lit, though.
No, this is beautiful. I love the colors here. I like the complementary, the blue on the blue. I think he probably had a logo on his shirt, and he's covering it up, which I like because it just keeps the palette really simple.
Well, also, if it says anything, we read it. The first thing we do in a photo is read what's on.
Your eyes always directed at text.
And it goes crazy to the text, and so.
Eyes look good.
You guys got to see this. Can we switch to the live feed for a second? So here's what happens. As soon as I bring up this is what Tracy does. Let's just like this. Those eyes aren't sharp enough.
No, they look great.
These look great.
They look great.
Nice and sharp.
Yes.
And the eyes look really alive, right? I mean, he looks really like
Really alive.
They're almost like sparkling. And you can also see what the lighting is too. It looks like it's a couple of strip banks, one on each side, maybe. Look in the eyes. They're on either side of the pupil, and they look tall and skinny. So like you're either lighting wine bottles or this young man.
And I love the composition. He's not dead center here.
Nope.
I love that. And I love the hands because I can see the fingertips. I can see the wrap. They're not spread out hands. That's another thing I always look at.
Yeah, Rose Kieran, who is from New Zealand and a very sweet person, says, I love the boy picture in blue. My favorite so far.
That's beautiful.
It's very well just carried out.
It's great.
What do we think about the balancing act?
So the coloring here is lovely. I like the shadows.
Lighting's nice.
The lighting's great. Again, I'm thinking of the story of the limbs. I know that the baby's awake, so this presents itself to be a little bit more challenging. With newborn photography, I really pay attention to hands because this is a planned session. This isn't a candid shot. This isn't a lifestyle shot. I want to focus more on, trying to perfect some of the things that I have control over, which would be hands. I'd tell mom and dad, put your fingertips closer together, make your hands look a little bit softer. And I'm not 100% what the story is here. I don't know. I'm assuming that's sibling looking up at child, but I don't get the sense that they're really looking up at the child or admiring the child. So I have a little bit of a disconnect there, but the lighting is really, really quite beautiful. This is lovely.
That's lovely.
Yeah,
Look how
it's just gorgeous.
tiny that little baby hand is.
I love this.
This makes me want to have another baby. Just kidding, honey.
Yeah.
Just kidding. We've got two. They're already like.
I mean, look at the grip that baby has on the hand. I mean,
know,
this
it's so
is
sweet.
beautiful.
That is beautiful.
I love that.
Hey, Cindy asked, can you give the exact extension you were talking about? So, Cindy, it is actually a filter, and it is called the Canon close-up filter. It's not called macro. It is the Canon close-up filter. You can find it at B&H Photo. And I wish I knew where it was. I'd run over. My camera room is right over there, but nothing is ever where I think it is. So it would take me 2 hours to find it. Or I could walk in and boom, there it is. Well, I might run over there in the next break. We'll see. But actually, you know what? It'll be after this. Let's wrap up this one. Let's take a quick break, and I'm going to try to gather some of the car shots together real quick. But Deb Usilka says, "Our little boy has quite the squinch." Hey, Deb Usilka, are we having dinner tomorrow night? Yes, we are. Deb's going to have dinner with me tomorrow.
Awesome.
She's like my Boston buddy. We got a bunch of friends all getting together, and then at the end we slide Deb the check. It works every time.
Well, then I'm coming.
You know who came? You know who came with me and Deb last year? Kaylee Greer. Yeah, she did, like a boss. So I got a lot of friends up there, and we're gonna all have dinner tomorrow night, and we're gonna just make fun of all the families who sent in photos today. No,
we're
that's not what we do.
No.
We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we have all kinds of stuff. And we have giveaways today that are just stunning. Other news. Tracy's here. It's a good day to be alive. Don't go away. We'll be right back live on the grid.
Hey guys, Terry White here, and I'm going to be at Photoshop World 2017, April 20th through the 22nd. I can't wait to share my new classes with you on Adobe Stock. I also have some updated classes on Adobe Muse and Lightroom and how to get started organizing your photos and even the little things about Lightroom that most people don't even realize you can do. Can't wait. Photoshop World 2017 is going to be off the charts. See you there.
Hi everybody, Scott Kelby here. I want to tell you about my brand new class for people who are just getting started in photography. It's called Beginners Start Here, and I go through all the stuff. It really is a lot about camera gear and settings because it's the most important stuff you need to know right now. Now, I do something in this class you're not going to see anybody else do. Nobody wants to do this, but I did it. I'm going to give you my favorite f-stops. I'm going to tell you which lenses to use for what. I'm going to treat the whole class like you and I are out on a shoot, and if you said, hey Scott, we're out here shooting a landscape, what f-stop should I use? Boom, I'm going to tell you. Whatever we're doing, I'm going to give you the straight scoop on settings, on accessories, on the stuff that you need to know. If you're new to photography, this is going to take you to that next level. You're going to start making better pictures, you're going to do it quick, and it's exclusively here at Kelby One.
Have you seen the fastest, best camera Canon has ever made? It's the 1DX Mark II. You're going to see it on sidelines of sporting events everywhere. It's super fast. It's amazing. And I just did a class about it at Kelby One. So make sure you check out that class. And I know that only pros have a camera like this. So I didn't spend lots of extra time showing you all the little nuances and going through everything. Just went through everything you really need to know. Check it out only on Kelby One.
Hi, we're back. All right, hang tight, everybody. Don't move, don't breathe, don't make a sound. So we are back. I just want to mention, this is not my thing, but I know a guy doing a thing. Frank Doerhoff, the greatest human in all of the Netherlands, and I'm sorry. But Johan, you know it's Frank, but you're second. You're right there. It's like Frank and then bang, right under him, Johan. Frank is doing a workshop in New Jersey because he doesn't know any better than to choose New Jersey. But it doesn't matter. I think there's only 2 spots left or 1 spot left or hardly anybody. You got to go to this. It's amazing. Go to frankdoerhoff.com and / something or other. I can't read it. It's in the teleprompter. It just stops at Frank Doerhoff. So just go to Frank Doerhoff's site and just play, work, just do it, whatever you want. Anyway, but Frank is not in the United States very often, and it probably will be banned from now on. So I would go and try to get to his workshop while you can, right? So go to Frank's. I'm going to tilt this little. This thing's driving me nuts. Go to Frank's workshop and feel the love. It's April 30th. Okay. We have... let's say Rick Cleland asks, how would printing be those baby shots on a black background? They would print fine.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They would print like a boss as long as you have a decent printer or you go to a decent printing place.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what I'm going to show you. People were asking about this earlier, but let me find. Here we go. I'm going to show you some behind the scenes shots from our Tesla shoot today. So we'll start right here, I guess. Here we go. So this is where I was shooting today. So this is DG Studios in Pinellas Park, Florida. And we started off by shooting a red, this is a red Tesla P90D. And there's what it looks like with the lights on. Look how big that softbox is. 35 feet long, 18 strobes, right? Really nice. And then we shot this car, which is kind of dark here, but maybe I can show you one out of the camera. That is a Tesla Model X, just straight up Model X. And it's blue. And it's got gull-wing doors. Look at the power packs that run those strobes.
Wow.
Speedotron strobes, 18 of those bad boys. And here's another shot. And so, this is pretty much what they use for professional car photography. And someone said, hey, there's a studio right in your own backyard. So we went and shot there. Give you a couple of shots there. That's me. And I'm down low. And that's me, looking at one of the shots. So I'll dig up another shot in just a minute to show you. But that's kind of the that stuff. Okay. So let's see. Okay, so Johan, the second greatest guy in all of the Netherlands, second, says, a question to Tracy. Do you have experiences with parents who are way too overprotective and are ruining a shoot? How do you deal with that?
So not so much usually overprotective, but sometimes more like overbearing, like trying to control the shoot. And that's more challenging. Overprotective, not generally speaking, especially with newborns. I mean, they know what's happening. They're coming there and giving me their babies.
And you're like, I'll take these.
Like,
sure.
I've got it. But sometimes overbearing. And so in times like that, I actually articulate ahead of time expectations for the shoot. So that's just essential. Talking to the parents ahead of time, letting them know what the shoot's going to be like, letting them know if their child's not cooperating or necessarily is a little bit off kilter, just to like let me harness that energy, let me play with the child, let me sometimes maybe go for a walk a little bit so that the child knows to interact with me. Otherwise, they're just looking at the parents the whole time and looking for either their approval or the opposite, purposely just trying not to do what they're being asked. And again, I'm not really directing. Instead, my approach to child photography is just to let them be and me capture them. So
there you go.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Lots of questions here. Kathy Bateson says, this is unrelated, but is there an app for Photoshop World 2017? Yes, it's called PSW 2017. So go to the App Store. It's there right now, and it's actually a pretty good app. So go check it out. Fernando says, I am going crazy while trying to plan my Photoshop World sessions. So Fernando, we know our viewers. Fernando is from Portugal, which is a beautiful country. I hope to visit one day.
My family's from.
Your family's from
My
Portugal?
parents from the Azores, and I go every year to Portugal. Yeah.
Oh, very nice. Well,
Mainland and islands.
You got to look at Fernando.
Yeah.
So anyway, he says, I need to clone myself. What tool do you recommend? Go get the app, Fernando. It lets you make up your own custom schedule. But I got to tell you, it's hard because there's so many great classes. There's 100. Sometimes there's 7 tracks going on at once, and you're like, you can only pick one. You want to be in all of them. So it does kind of drive you crazy. So Fair Oaks Dave says, I just checked out Tracy's website. Wow. Can she say more about the lighting, especially not using artificial lighting? Didn't you just do a class? Am I wrong? But on shooting families and children and stuff?
I might have, yeah.
Over
sort
like
of
the last
recently,
couple of days?
yeah.
Did you ever mention lighting or anything?
I might have talked a little bit about lighting.
All right. So that class will be coming out here on Kelby One. So you'll go into like all kinds of detail
Absolutely.
and stuff. Yeah, because that's like a really, really important things. Hey, Stephen Bollinger. Oh, Stefan. Excuse me, Stephen. That's Stefan. I know Stefan. He's from Australia. They're like, this is International Audience Day. Says, best advice ever: remind parents that they hired you for a reason, and remind them before the shoot.
Absolutely, agreed. Because they'll pull out their cell phone. They'll be shooting while I'm shooting. I'm thinking, and I'll remind them, you hired me to do this for you today.
All right. So Peter says that 35 millimeter, that would be a little wide on a full frame. I don't think that's I don't think it's wide.
I use it all the time.
Yeah, I was gonna go. I'm not even sure if that's like wide enough. But I mean, I don't shoot newborns, so it's like. I stay away from them because I would get baby fever and then I want to have babies. Honey, are you watching? Sorry. Okay.
Especially because newborn safety, too. If you're positioning a baby on a prop, like on the floor, that's great. That's a much safer space. And so you're shooting from above, you're standing, and you can angle in. But that 35 is perfect.
35, there you go. All righty, let's see what else we got. Let's see. Kathy Bateson says, I need to see Stella after I've redone my portfolio after watching her courses. Fernando wants to know when will Stella's session be? I can't see it on the schedule. Well, Fernando, we just learned that Stella's coming, so we're adding her to the schedule now. All right, let's see. What else do we have? We got some more. Let's go look at, what did we say? Let's go look at another photographer's work here. Here we go. And, uh-oh, lost my control room feed, sorry. See, Juan used to be very quiet about these, but these new microphones, they're so like directional that Juan can just talk to us from over there. Juan will say, yeah, control room 2, He doesn't care anymore. He used to whisper, now Juan's like, I know they can't hear me.
I'm resisting the urge to lean in.
No, you can, those are sharp eyes.
Beautiful.
Sharp eyes. Hey, he actually showed you leaning in this time. He like put you on. You were like on camera. All right, here we go. So here are the 3 shots. Any thoughts overall?
This looks like the only thought overall is that it's hard to believe this is the same photographer.
I
Because
know.
all three of those styles are so different.
They're so
I mean,
different.
so different.
They're just like, it is like three completely different photographers.
This is lovely. Quick, I would get rid of the hot spots in the background. That's really,
Right up here,
really
those-
super easy.
Those bright areas, just clone those out.
Absolutely.
Or content aware fill. Or
Absolutely.
content unaware fill would even get rid of those. They're so large.
Other than that, it's lovely. I mean, the wispy hair, the eyes are gorgeous.
Totally engaged subject. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I just am having such a disconnect that this would be the same photographer between the photo we just took and this shot. There's nothing wrong with this. This is a clean image. Everyone appears to be in the same plane. It's a family shot. They're all looking and.
Can I ask you a question? And I don't know what your thoughts are on this. So I'm
Sure.
just asking you. What are your thoughts on the everybody wears the same color thing? Is that big?
You
Good?
should hear
Bad?
my photo tip Friday.
Did you do a photo tip Friday on that?
I might have been talking a little bit about
I
wardrobe.
don't want to spoil it then because it was my own question. So so if you follow us on Facebook, every Friday we do a thing called Photo Tip Friday, and apparently that was one of the topics for Photo Tip Friday. All right. Christine asks, she said, "Hey, it's Chris from Aus." Now that's either Austin, Texas, or Australia. We're going to go with Australia because today is a big day for us and our viewers from Australia. So. Are you on time frames for baby shoots? As I find they can take forever if the child is upset. Is that am I reading that right?
I think so. I don't know that she necessarily meant upset, but I think if we're talking about newborns, absolutely, I'm on a time frame. I shoot 2 newborns a day, and I have to do that like during school hours while my kids are at school. So I'm absolutely in a time frame. I can move very quickly, but if you're controlling the environment, essentially it's biological. Children, the babies are sleeping. Otherwise, there's like something going on. So if it's really, really warm and you're swaddling, you just have to move really quickly through the sets. But I will photograph a newborn usually in about an hour and a half from start to finish. And then for other baby shoots, if we're talking about like an older baby, like a 6-month-old or an 8-month-old, honestly, usually if they're well fed and they've slept and you've again articulated that ahead of time to the parents, they usually go really well.
Yeah. So they're well fed. Do you like beef? Is it steak?
I give them candy.
Candy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I tell you what, a nice cut of prime rib. You get a nice 14-ounce prime rib with
Hot
some
dogs. Hot
Hot
dogs.
dogs. What kind of hot dogs?
Oscar Mayer.
No, Armor hot dogs. The dogs kids love to buy. Nobody. God. All right. What advice would you give the photographer that we're just looking at? If you had to give this photographer one bit of advice, would it be pick a style? Would it be what would your?
So I need to know if this photographer's shooting for him or herself, or if this photographer's shooting for clients. Are these?
I mean, this is a studio shot.
Yeah, true. So I would say pick a style then, because we want to. Essentially, I think you want to attract people because of some consistency. I wouldn't know what to go to this photographer for specifically.
Exactly. Thank you.
So that would
Because
challenge me.
If I hire you as a photographer to photograph my family or my kids, which photographer shows up?
Exactly.
Does this one show up? Does this photographer show up? I'm not going to invest my money. I don't have any idea what I'm going to get. I
Agreed.
don't know who you are.
Because in this shot, this is really clear cut. Okay, and I could picture other images like this.
Right.
But this shot, okay, more limited studio, and there's a place for this certainly. But if I anticipate this and I get this, I'm really upset.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Totally got you. Anna Adams asks, do you usually have more people in your staff on the set, like people to help with hair and props and different stuff like that? How many people are on your set?
That's a great question. I
typically?
have an assistant, especially with children, because as I'm shooting and I'm looking through the lens, I want someone to be there for safety purposes. So that's really, really essential, always for newborns. But then even with the older ones, just flyaway hairs and fixing things and sometimes getting in there white boogers, anything. So yeah, I always have an assistant.
To wipe boogers.
That's a thing, yes.
That's tweetable. I need an assistant to wipe boogers.
Oh, that's when you know, they're big
That's
time.
tweet of the week.
Someone's wiping boogers for you.
Boogers. Yeah, that's right. And that's the quote right there. That is actually the quote. You know you're big time when you have an assistant there to wipe boogers.
Not your own.
Right? Oh, I'm sorry. I was like, wow.
Someone else's. Not yours.
Oh, well, that changes everything.
The kids.
I was thinking,
The
wow.
kids.
You need someone right there. Yeah, Tracy, you got a little something there. I got to dig
That'd be
in.
helpful,
Do they
I
have
guess,
like
too.
tweezers? Do they get them up with tweezers and don't move? Wow. Okay, here we go. Another photographer. Wow. I know, it's just silence. You're like, are those babies out in the field?
I was just trying to figure out if it was a digital backdrop.
That's a baby. Yeah, the baby. Yeah, the big baby. Here we go. Babies. She's leaning in. She's doing the lean in.
Not for the eyes, though. I'm trying to figure out the image.
Yeah, this is babies in a field.
Yes. So,
Very typical.
Which, I mean, I do some, I throw babies in a field all the time. Well, not physically throw them, but put
I do
babies
that.
in fields. But I'm not really sure of the image itself, if it was intentional, or maybe they were. Maybe they went and visited someone in the field and they're having dinner and they
breakfast
brought
out
all that
there.
with them, and I'm not sure.
Sippy cups. They're like.
So I guess just a small tip perhaps is paying attention to the horizon line, not going through the back of
Yeah,
heads.
the horizon line going right through their heads. Boom.
Same thing here. I would get down much lower to take the
Horizon
shot.
line, right through the head.
Absolutely, and then the lighting on the other eye.
Yeah, completely dark.
Absolutely.
That would be okay with like a man. Like, if you're doing a portrait of a guy and you want it really dramatic. For a child, it seems a little like...
The drama's not in the right place. If he was positioning, his nose was closer to me and I saw a little bit more of the face and it was more balanced, potentially that could work. But in this case, it doesn't seem intentional. It seems more like a lighting issue and positioning the child.
All righty. And this one? That's
really
cute.
Yeah, it's a really cute image. I think that's lovely. I think that's an image that a parent will love forever. And
Yeah.
I mean, he'll be mad at mom someday. Like, why did you take that? But
But let me ask you a question. Would you... These don't look like you would hire this photographer. They're just like, these are my kids.
And I think that these are. I think these are all related kids. So yeah. So for shooting, if this is a mother or father shooting for him or herself, then these are great.
Yep.
Keep these, and these are cherished images.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
because
Especially this one.
we want
that's lovely.
We want a historical, reference of our life.
Absolutely.
A historical, visual history of our life.
Absolutely.
Peter Treadway says, I've been wiping boogers from my kids' noses for years. If only
made
I'd
it.
known, I could have gotten paid for it. Miles Irwin says, man, I'm glad that got clarified. All right. So Renata DeBolt says that she thinks that background looks digital, light and
That's what I was trying to
direction,
figure out,
and
too.
lack. I'm going to say it's not.
I couldn't tell.
I am going to say it is not digital.
The warmth is really consistent, so that's why
Yes.
I'm thinking not too. Because look at the skin tones. It's really
Yeah,
warm
and it looks
throughout.
just weird enough
Yeah.
that it would be real.
I agree.
Also, and this is going to sound like a cut, but I don't mean it to be, but to put somebody on a digital background later takes a lot of post-processing.
Agreed.
I don't see a lot of post-processing skill here. I'm sorry.
No, agreed.
This is like, these look like iPhone shots. I don't think that, like, they said, hey, let's composite these into a country field. I
Agreed.
think it is what it is. All right. And let's see. Let's see. So Christine wants to know, from Australia. Tracy, what is your website so I can go stalk your work, please? Where can people find out more about your work?
So Elan, ELAN studio.com. Elan Studio.
Well, there it is right there.
There I am.
Oh, look at that. That's a baby.
That's a
Yeah, the
little
baby head.
baby.
Oh, those are mermaids.
They are mermaids, real ones.
Real ones. That is amazing.
Those are real angels.
Oh, those are real angels.
Yeah.
Oh, these are so good. Do you guys see the difference, though, when you see these pictures? You're like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to be trying to get. Oh, my gosh, these are beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I've seen them before, by the way. But, well, I haven't seen all of these. I just saw a collection of them. Oh, you're too good to be on this show.
Oh,
You're going to have to leave. We're going to get someone older that knows the
These
Oscar
are all
Mayer
shot
song.
without any sort of off-camera lighing. This is all natural light
lighting.
outdoors.
You're a boss at natural light.
Thank you.
I'm guessing you're not shooting at high noon.
I am not shooting. No. I have a couple where sometimes I just cannot avoid it,
beautiful.
but typically early morning or early evening, and then into golden hour. Absolutely.
God, you must get a ton of business. You must be rich.
Oh,
Look at these.
one would think.
These are gorgeous. They're just
Thank
gorgeous.
You. Thank you.
All right, where can people follow you on Instagram? We're not done yet, by the way, but we're doing this anyway.
So that's great. No, Tracy Sweeney. It's Tracy_Sweeney on Instagram.
And is there an EY or is it just a Y?
TRACY, and then Sweeney is SWEENEY.
EY. Yes, it is. Thank you for mentioning that. All right. And are you on Twitter?
I am. Someone should follow me on there. So yes.
All right.
Someone follow me on Twitter.
Please follow her on Twitter.
And I believe it's _Alon Studio, all one word, on Twitter.
Like you're everywhere. Okay, Stefan says, quote of the day for me, it looks just weird enough to be real. All right. And let's see what else we got. Stefan says, I'm looking forward to Tracy's class. Even though I stay away from newborn photography, I don't want to run into a discussion with my wife afterwards. 2 kids is enough. But you didn't do newborn, right?
No.
The
class is family.
Family and kids, right?
Absolutely.
And a tiger. Okay. All right. Let's go and look at another photographer here. Let me take a moment here to go to the right place. Oh, where are you, other photographer? Why can't I get back to the... Here we go. Oh, other photographer. All right, here we go. That's one shot. 2. Splashy family. It's the Splashy family. And you know what's good about that? You can tell because the whole picture's leaning to the right that eventually they will slide off and fall into the water. Because horizon lines and straight photos are not really a concern of this photographer. But let's not even talk about that. Let's start here. To answer your question, this is just for me. How do you feel about like this stuff in the front?
So I actually love that, but I would tear it down more because it's intruding with the child's face. So I don't mind when all of this is out of focus. I actually like that quite often, but this is too much.
It's
so
too much.
A little bit of this would be lovely. I mean, these are weeds essentially. So as a photographer, just pull those out of the ground before you shoot.
So quote of the day: destroy nature.
Weeds, yes, sure.
Destroy the most beautiful nature you can. Look at this. Anna Adams gave you a very nice compliment. She said, lovely work. I wish my 19-year-old was 3 again to have her photos with you.
Oh, wow.
It's a very nice compliment.
It is very nice.
And Cindy Hayes says, wow, those are amazing. I might borrow a baby so you can take their picture.
I love
just
that.
That's what's at Babies R Us. If you've ever go to Babies, they just rent them out for the day. You pick them up, you take them. Miles Orban says, that work is just fantastic. You can definitely see where the bar is set.
Thank you, Miles.
Colleen Logan says, gorgeous. Alberto says, wonderful shots, Tracy.
Thank you.
There you go. All right, so we got another question. So Graham's
good for the soul. I have to just coming on every week.
You know what? You shoot like that, you won't have to go very far to get all kinds of praise. Graham has had some real good questions today. Graham asks, when the kids are older, do you switch to a different focal length? So we kind of identified 35 for newborns. What are we looking at for?
For 85.
85?
Love my 85. Yeah, I can throw the 85 on
85,
for
1.4 or 1.8?
1.2.
1.2?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Oh, 1.2. You must be a Canon shooter.
I am.
1.2. What?
I am.
Do you practice good focus techniques? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. See, but people don't realize that about those lenses. They are. So you hear photographers talk about how sharp they are. If you don't do it right, it's a mess.
It's a mess.
All right. How do you feel about the massive headroom up here?
There's a lot. This could be tighter cropped. Absolutely. There's no reason for the left side. And frankly, this would be neat if you did like a layer copy and just flipped it and kind of put some of this texture to frame her, because I do like the texture, but if you want something on the left side, it needs something else. So we could kind of like envelop her, circle a little bit if she wanted to get playful.
Okay.
But I would tighter crop it.
Okay.
And here there's just a lot of highlights coming in. I get this time of day a little bit. It's actually bare, the trees are bare.
Yeah, these trees are kind of bare.
Yeah, so I know that that's challenging in general, just because if she lives anywhere near or he, where I do, it's such a limited time of year to photograph outdoors.
If this was a wonderful background, that would be different. But this is not.
Bare.
It's not.
So when I look at this image right away, I'm just looking at that blank sky. There's no information there, and that's just where I'm drawn to. So this is another one where I don't normally say compose in the center, but with this one I would just kind of probably recompose that shot, and I'm not sure where the photographer is, but if he or she has some room to angle, I would probably angle from this direction, and
that would be the right direction.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I forget we're not. I forget you can't see me with my body motion there. Yeah. So that's the only thing with this image. I'm just getting distracted with all the white. But other than that, it's a good image.
All right. And splashy tilty family.
this family will love this image. They're gonna love this.
That is cute. And look, the lighting's the nicest of all of them. The lighting, I think, is nice and complimentary.
Absolutely. Good contrast in the background. I like the coloring. They're all wearing something a little bit different, but they still complement with the coloring. Mom's or whomever's in the stripes. And no, I think this is great. High shutter, you capture all that.
I like the way you said mom and then you backed off. Mom and the stripes. I don't know. It might be the babysitter. Who knows? Who is this weird person with them? Okay. Alrighty. Man, you're getting such nice comments. Stefan says, by the way, Stefan Bollinger is like an amazing photographer. He's from Australia and he does his own podcast and he's like a top dog. And so he says, awesome looking style, Tracy. My compliments. Gorgeous work.
Thank you.
Marie France says, love your work. Rose Kieran, who, by the way, Rose doesn't like anybody or anything, says she loves your studio. And then Fernando says, can we expect a new class from Tracy soon? That's what she's doing here. Yes, Fernando, she's been taping for the last 2 days on location with actually very mean families. No, they were nice, right? Everybody was nice.
Lovely.
All righty.
Yes.
So those classes are coming as soon as, we can get Jen to stop moderating questions and actually do some work for Jen. No, that's not Jen's job. Jen doesn't edit video, does she? You know who does? Juan. Let's look over at Juan. Juan, are you going to edit these classes? He said possibly. You could just hand it off to somebody else. They have a pool back there. They just bet on them. Charles Self says, beautiful pictures. Florin asks, and Florin's a regular. Florin says, how do you retouch those beautiful photos? Boy, if only there were a class. They were a class. Amazing portfolio, they did say, so I'm going to add that.
Thank you.
Man, if there was a class. Okay. Can you ask Tracy where she gets her wraps for the babies?
Oh, Prissy Princess.
Prissy Princess, Kathy. So Kathy Bateson asked that. Kathy, go to Prissy Princess.
Yes, amazing wraps.
Amazing wrap.
You can see some more of my
Do they have a
work over
whole
there,
wheat
too.
wrap? Because I swear I would love that. A whole wheat wrap or like a
Soy
tomato
paper.
Those are absolutely awesome. I'm so bad today. I don't know.
Those are good names for wrap. That could be a whole business. I like
They
that.
are. They are. You know what? I feel like it's time for a break. I just feel like it is. I don't know why. I just feel like it's time for a break. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, something is going to happen. I'm not quite sure. Oh, wait. I can tell you what our new class is when we come back. We had a new class going live this week because, every Thursday is, what is it, Jen? It's New Class Thursday. We're so excited. And sometimes we release them Wednesday night, but don't tell anyone. Anyway, we'll tell you what it is after the break. We have lots of giveaways. Tracy's here. We have more photographers, more questions, more love right after this. Don't go away.
I've been here 4 times. Every time I continue to learn new and fabulous things about photography and Photoshop and Lightroom.
The knowledge I've obtained from Photoshop World, it has helped me to step out and start my own professional graphic design business.
In one word, awesome. It's just absolutely amazing. Just the large variety of photographers, the networking.
The expo floor, Midnight Madness, the keynote, everything. It's fun.
You have so many different options, an entire bevy of different classes you can attend.
You can't put a price on getting inspired, going back, doing something, learning a new technique, something that helps you to produce better photographs.
Photoshop World is like a rewarding vacation. I'm learning, but I'm still having fun at the same time.
I would absolutely recommend that anyone that has a passion for creative things, photography, design, anything, they attend Photoshop World.
I'll bet you've got an off-camera flash. You know what else I'll bet? I bet you're not in love with it. You've used it a couple of times, it didn't get the results you wanted. I want to help you. You know what I want to do? I want to make you fall in love with your flash, and that's what this class is all about. It's called Just One Flash, because everybody's got at least just one flash. We're going to go on location like we are here. We're going to be in the studio, but we're going to start off and I'm going to give you all the foundation. I'm going to give you shortcuts. I'm going to give you the whole thing, and it's right here exclusively at Kelby One.
All right, we are back. Scott Kelby here with the amazing Tracy Sweeney, who has gained many, many fans today. Sports Encounter says, and this is Tariq from the UAE, the United Arab Emirates. Awesome, awesome country. Oh my God, your images are just jaw-dropping, Tracy.
Thank you.
And Dan Hull asked, where did you get the merry-go-round horse?
Craigslist.
Craigslist? Wow. You can get everything on Craigslist.
Yeah.
You said it like you were embarrassed. Say it like a boss.
I wanted to tell people like where they could get one. Craigslist. It came from a dealer, I believe, initially on the West Coast, and somehow made its way to New England. And I had been scouting, and I kept searching like all derivatives of horse carousel.
But you know what? To find that crazy stuff, you do have to stay
You
at
have
it.
to.
You have
Yeah.
to stay at it and get it. Gilbert says, very nice lighting. Love your work. Must visit your site. Ivan says, hi, Ivan Bowden. Nice to see you in there. Tracy's work is outstanding.
Thank you.
Kathy Basin says, I cannot wait to see your class. I'll be the first to watch it. No, Kathy, I'm going to secretly watch it before it's released at a secret release party. Hey, speaking of secret releases, can I just mention something here? So you people that are regulars on the grid, there's people that like watch us every week. And a lot of you are coming to Photoshop World, a bunch of them. I'm trying to find something where the grid people can have like an event like separate from everybody else's that will be exclusive and separate and secret and cool, only for cool grid people. So, because we have a lot of people coming from the UK, because we have a lot of great UK watchers. And so anyway, people are coming over, and we're going to have to make sure, like, Fernando, he has to come. He's always on here. And, also Fernando from Portugal, by the way. He's always in the Kelby One community helping.
Oh,
you know what else, too? He's not always just in there helping and answering everybody's questions. His answers are right. Like, sometimes people answer stuff and it's not. But his stuff is consistently, like, right on the money. Like, he knows what he's doing. He really knows his stuff.
That's because he's Portuguese.
Great, because he's Portuguese. Well, of course. Chris Henry says, do you shoot any other genres of photography?
No, and all things child. I shoot commercial work, too, but it's all child related.
Hey, great. That's how you get insanely good. A lot of times I'll talk to photographers and they go, what do you shoot? And they go, oh, I shoot a little bit of everything. It's really hard to get good at anything if you shoot a little bit of everything. Now, at first you kind of have to find out what it is that you think, I've got a knack for this and I love doing this, right? Anonymous says, I wish I could get her to photograph my kids.
Aww.
You can, for a price. You travel, you're in Florida today. So go to her website. Give me your website address again.
Elan, ELAN-studio.com. So the studio is called Elan Studio by
Elan
Tracy
Studio.
Sweeney.
Right. ElanStudio.com. All right. Graham says, tell Scott I love the way he says my name with his American accent. Hey, Graham. Dude, what's up? Dude, Graham, come on. Okay, so he's British, right? Oh, yeah, there it is. It's Graham Bewley, Photo UK is his name. So Graham is not it? How would you pronounce it? Because we have Grahams here. But we always call him Graham.
Oh, sure. I would say Graham,
what
too.
What could it be? I don't know. We're perplexed.
Silly
Maybe you
Americans.
could give us a little phonetic thing. Because here's what we do, Graham. If we don't know how to pronounce your name, we go to that Google thing and it will pronounce. Google has a thing where it pronounces your name. You know what it says? Graham.
Graham.
It says Graham and it says dude right after it all the time. Anonymous wants to know, and by the way, if it says Anonymous, Tracy, it's not because they don't want to be known. It's just because they're too lazy to type
put
their
in their
name.
name.
No, it's okay. So what do you keep your ISO at?
It depends.
right?
Yeah, it totally depends.
Depends
Low
on
as
the
I can.
Yeah, it depends on the light.
Depending on the light.
Yeah, we only raise our ISO if we have to. All right. Hey, if we can switch to my machine real quick. I did find, here's one of the shots from today. So this is the Tesla P90D, and the reflection. Okay, this is all I've done to it is this. You can see if you look over I did it on the break. So this has a 60-second retouch, which is adding contrast, lowering the highlights, opened up the shadows. I moved the whites a little bit, added a little clarity. That's it. There's a lot more to be done to this. So when you see it like on my blog or on Facebook, it should look a whole lot better. So that is basically the out-of-camera shot with 60 seconds of tweaking. And the reflection is actually, we shot it on a white cove that you guys saw, right? In fact, give me 1 second. Hold on. Let me just jump back onto me for 1 second here. Let me just show you what you're seeing. Because I can show you, I just got to find the right shot. It is right here. So if you take a look on screen. So see how the cove ends and then it's concrete? My camera is literally on the ground. In fact, so Eric was with me and we took two partitions out of my camera bag, stacked them one on top of another and leaned my camera on it. So my camera is on the floor and that is, so what you're seeing is not the white right here. You're seeing that. And see, that's pretty reflective.
Oh, yeah.
Now, it doesn't look that reflective when you're standing there, but when you shoot it, though, You get that nice reflective
that.
nature. So anyway, it's got a lot of work to do, but you know. And by the way, I just want to give a high five out there to Tim Wallace. He teaches car photography on Kelby One. I never shot a photograph of a car until Tim Wallace. He's got all kinds of great techniques and stuff, so learn from him on Kelby One. All right, Heather wants to know. Heather says, you mentioned a newborn shoot lasts about an hour and a half. How many images from that shoot would you present to the client?
Around 35 to 40, depends on if we involve parents too. Sometimes the parents want to be in the shot, sometimes they don't, so that'll procure a few more images, but yep, anywhere around.
All right. Miles Irwin says he is so looking forward to your training on Kelby One.
Thank you.
Oh, Graham says it just sounds different. You haven't heard it pronounced, Graham, until you have Dick Van Dyke pronounce it, because I would have to say that he has the best British accent. Remember Mary Poppins? Yeah. He had the very best British accent ever. So real, like being there in England. All right, take a look on screen. Another photographer. Here we go. That might just be a composite, since none of the tones in the image match. Yeah, like they're all like high contrast, and then the rest of the whole picture is low contrast, and then we just kind of stuck them in there, and like, you know, that might be faked. But let's go to these two. Yeah. What do you think? So you had your iPhone with you that day?
This is better than an iPhone pic, but it's a cute shot of someone's children. I'm not sure. I don't know if this is a photographer photographing for someone else or not. But yeah, there's nothing necessarily creative about it. It's that look at me, smile, I've got the shot, and it's lovely. But I'd rather see them interacting, playing in that ravine, splashing around, doing something more, just
more
walking.
like the family kicking their legs.
Yes, exactly. Even just like, or even like just playing with the rocks or skipping stones or just something a little bit more interactive.
But can I say something just in the overall thing?
Please do.
No one's going to look at a picture of their kids and say it's a bad shot. And you're not going to say that either.
No.
Because we have to have pictures of our kids that are not portraits. They're just, hey, we were at the park one day and the kids looked over and said, hey, kids, look over and took a shot.
Absolutely.
To me, that's what these look like.
Mm-hmm.
You can't charge for these. You couldn't go get a gig doing, children's photography. But these are still important shots. I don't want to take away, and I want to draw the distinction. You sent this as an example of your work. So all we can judge it by is this is what your work is, and your work looks like it's important because you're shooting your family.
100%.
And you shot your family in good light.
And I want these images of my own children. I mean, I grab my cell phone and I say, I want these images. So they have their place, absolutely.
Thousands and thousands of images on my phone. Thousands of them, and I got tons of photos of my kid. And my wife takes pictures, and I always see them on her phone. And go, please send me that. Please send me that. Please, and I save them. And I've got so many photos, and some are beautiful portraits, even with an iPhone, and some are just remember the day we were at. Because you want to remember those days. It's the visual history of your life. So some of that stuff is important. But if you're asking us to judge your photography, or in this case, Photoshop work.
And this is not like a day in the life. Like, to me, this is okay, a day in the life. This one is more planned. I'm not getting the sense that she climbed that tree and we just, captured the image.
Like, oh, look.
Yes. So in that sense, it's a good shot. I mean, for what it is, it's a look at me and let me capture you at this.
All right, we got to do
age.
one more, and then we're gonna have to like say goodbye. Say goodbye. Never say good. Nobody knows that song. It's Bon Jovi, for God's sake.
Song. That
Bon
one I
Jovi.
know.
Come on. Somebody's got to know a song.
I know that one.
All right, here we go.
What's distracting me here is the ear coming through the hat. And again, I don't know if this is I'm not sure what the
It's like maybe
is.
a First Communion kind of thing or something.
But I'm not 100% with the sweater on top.
It's a cold day on the First Communion.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Here, more lighting on the face. She's very dull there. I'd have her position her chin on top of her hands as opposed to
Right
hidden behind her
them,
hands
right.
because she's leading with the hands here. The
Skin
ears coming
tone,
out.
she's blue.
Yes. So this again is similar to kind of our discussion. This is a great image to have of your family. It's lovely. The kids smiling and happy, and I like that they're kind of all looking in different directions. And similarly so, if they just got this dog, we're capturing that moment in time that's going to be treasured someday. Again, you're not hiring a photographer for that image, but it's a great image to have.
And they're important shots. They're not
Very
stupid
much so.
shots. They're not bad, but they're not really portraits. They're not what you would expect to get from a professional. These are like, this is my family, and these are important shots, and they mean a lot to me, and they're some of the most important shots you will ever take.
Ever. And
But-
these are really important, so I don't want anyone.
Yeah,
exactly.
that's what I was trying to
the
kind of
takeaway
get,
from this is absolutely shoot these all day long. I mean, take out your cameras, moms, shoot the pictures. Beyond just working as if you're a professional photographer, obviously you're honing your craft and you're looking for that creativity and all of the other elements we're talking about. But at the end of the day, parents want these photos
Hey,
too.
I'm going to queue up some stuff here. There's a question here, Tracy. How did you actually start in business? Like, when did you start charging for your shoots?
That's a great question. I started charging in 2011. My twins were born, and I was ready to start procuring.
You were twinning up?
I was twinning up. That's pretty much, I learned, photography while I was breastfeeding the twins, watching YouTube videos, and
Alrighty, let's. We have some giveaways and stuff to do here, so let's go. Let's get those out of the way because we're going to run out. We're about out of time. So first, where do you go to enter the contest? Go to kelby1.com/contest. Contest. It's just that simple. When you go there, it's going to be important for you to tell us which gift you want to win. So give us your name and all that kind of stuff. But then here we go. What gift you want to win? We have Lens Pro to Go gift cards. Only ask to win one of these if you're in the United States, right? So these are U.S. only. $50 gift cards to Lens Pro to Go. Awesome place. We are giving away in honor of our 6th anniversary a Think Tank City Walker shoulder bag. This is actually the bag itself. It holds nothing. Oh, we have one? Oh my gosh, we have one. I didn't know that. Juan just pointed to it. Juan's a handy guy to have around. So this is it right here.
It's a nice bag.
It's a really nice bag. It's a shoulder bag.
I want
It
that
holds
bag.
a ton of stuff. I've seen these bags. They're very, very popular. So here we go. And yeah, you're going to win one of these? Yeah, you are. Someone's going to win one. So if you want to win that, go ahead. If you would like to win this book, Photoshop CC book, for digital photographers, you can just write book in there. We'll know what it means. Now, we have 3 grid cups. Count them. 1, 2, 3. So if you want to win a grid cup, just write grid cup. The grid cup. Yeah. I got the grid cup into my brain.
Na, 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 na. I don't know
Thank
the
you,
words,
thank
but I got
you.
it.
That's okay. It's a wham, It's all right. Anyway, Brandon says, oh, wonderful work, Tracy. I love the tone and
Ethereal.
ethereal. I almost pronounced that in a horrible name. In a horrible. That's why I was laughing. All right. Graham says it's a great first show to watch live. This is Graham's. He likes the way I say that. Graham, dude, it's your first show watching live. Loves Tracy's work. Thank you for the info and tips. And Cindy says, cool car. Are we giving one away today? Yeah, so Cindy, in the thing, right car, see if you win. And Leodum says, learned so much from Kelby One. Thank you. You're very welcome. Thank you so much. Last question of the day. Do you discuss with your clients who have nursed babies to be careful what the mother eats before a newborn shoot? That's interesting.
It's an interesting question. I get what she's saying because certain foods can sometimes be irritable for the baby and affect the. But at that stage, at day 7, 8, 9, mom's just learning typically how to breastfeed, and
it's kind of new.
Yeah, well, and she may have already been done it with other babies, but it's a new experience altogether. So no, I don't ask her anything about her diet at that point in time.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? So you know that there's just a general rule that if you meet a woman and she's pregnant, you don't go, how far along are you? Because it can have disastrous results. I've known people that have had that happen to them. And people are always trying, and what was a quote I read? It was on the wall of Jimmy John's. right? The sandwich shop, and it said, never ask a woman if she's pregnant unless you actually see a baby coming out of her. But I heard a new one. I read a new one this week. It's the best one I've heard. It's just to ask a pregnant woman, so do you have kids? And she'll go, well, I mean, I have a boy and a girl, and of course, one on the way. Boom, there you know. If they don't answer, you go, so do you drink a lot of beer? No, you wouldn't say that.
No, you don't.
All right, Deb Usilka says, Scott, bring the car to Boston and give me a ride. Okay, Deb, I'm in the Uber. You need to go get the Uber app between now and tomorrow night, Deb. And there's going to be a bunch of us. There's going to be 1,200 people eating there. All right, Gilbert says, a secret love show for the grid would be spectacular. Cindy says, hooray for moms of twins. Yay. Thank you guys so much. Tracy, thank you so much. You were a wonderful, wonderful guest, and your work is just amazing. We are honored to have you at Kelby One. Looking forward to your classes coming out. I just want to say, Jen, thank you for your awesomeness.
Oh, she's amazing, by the way.
She is.
Like,
I know.
She's
Jen rocks. We love Jen.
in love with her.
Have you ever seen Jen's work?
I have.
She's a kick-butt photographer.
She's so good.
So good. All right,
So
Juan.
good.
Hey, by the way, nobody ever talks about Juan's photography. We've got a print of Juan's hanging that he took in New York, and I thought we bought it. I mean, I thought, you know how you can buy big prints? And then Juan's like, I took that. I'm like, no, seriously. Juan's a really good, he shoots sports. He shoots all kinds of stuff. Juan is a many-talented guy. Thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you all next week. Thanks, Tracy. We'll see you guys next week. Leighton in the booth did pretty good today. Cheers.
Bye, everyone.
I've been here 4 times. I continue to learn new and fabulous things about photography and Photoshop and Lightroom.
If you come here with one thing on your mind, you're probably going to end up leaving with interest in other areas.
You want to stay in the know and stay on the cutting edge. This is the place to do it.
Anyone that has a passion for creative things, photography, design, they attend Photoshop World.